Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet these beautiful little booties. I made them to match the little Ivy set, which includes the matching little cardigan sweater, the matching baby pants, the little hat, and the matching baby blanket. In the information box, you'll find the links to all of those tutorials. Now, the little booties that we're going to make, like I said, are for 3 to 6 months, but you can easily make them smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 12 to 24 months. In the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make them smaller or bigger. And as always, if you prefer written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make the little Ivy set, including the baby booties, this is the yarn that I'm using. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. For the little booties in the 3 to 6 month size, you're going to need a total of 15 grams for each booty, 9 grams in pink and about 6 grams in white. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. And remember, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Thanks so much for watching. Okay, to make these baby shoes, I'll be using this 3.5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the 3 to 6 month size. You can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. I'm going to use 2 colors. For the sole here, I'm going to make it in white, and then for the rest of the booties, I'm going to use the pink color, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the white here around these fans that we're going to make for the cuff. So to begin here, I have a total of 13 chains beginning into the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3 into this 3rd chain. Insert your hook into the top loop of the chain and make a double crochet. Each of these double crochets that I'm going to make here, I'm going to make sure to only go through the top loop of the chain. So into the next chain, make a double crochet, and I'm going to do this until I have 10 double crochets. Now, these 2 chains here at the beginning do not count. So far, I have 2. Into the next, that's 3. There, I have 10 double crochets, not including the 2 chains, and I have 1 last chain here. Here into this last chain, make 7 double crochets. That's 1, 2. I have 7 double crochets. Now, along the other side of the chain, I'm going to make 10 double crochets. So beginning into this first chain right there, make your first double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3. I have 10 double crochets along this other side of the chain. Now, here at the end, we're going to go into the turning chain. Remember, here we left 2 chains. So into this next chain right there, make 7 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There, I have 7 double crochets. To finish the row, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 1. Now at the end of this first row, I have a total of 34 double crochets. I have 10 double crochets along this side of the chain, then I have 7 here at the end, and then along this other side of the chain I have 10, and then here I have 7 double crochets. So that's a total of 34 double crochets at the end of this first row. Now for row 2 of the sole, chain 2. Here I'm going to make 10 double crochets. So beginning into the first double crochet, make a double crochet. That's 1, 10. There. Now into the next 7 double crochets, I'm going to make 2 double crochets into each one of the double crochets. So beginning into the next, make 2 double crochets. That's 2, into the next 3 and 4, into the next 5 and 6, into the next 7 and 8, into the next 9 and 10, into the next 11 and 12, into the next 13 and 14. There. I have 14 double crochets here for the front of the booty. Now into the next 10 stitches, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So beginning into the next, make 1, into the next, that's 2, and so on until you have 10 double crochets. It'll put you right about here, and then we're going to do the same thing I did here for these next 7 double crochets. So continue. I'll meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making these 10 double crochets along this other side. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now into these last 7 double crochets, I'm going to make 2 double crochets on top of each one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and into the last 13 and 14. There. Now to finish, you can go here on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch, cut your yarn, and pass your yarn through that last loop. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you a way so that you can't see the slip stitch. So here, cut your yarn, the sole is done. So just pull this loop through. Now with a yarn needle, we're going to, on top of the first stitch, insert the needle through both loops of the first stitch, pull this, and now go on top of the last stitch through the one loop here. And now it's joined, and that's how it looks. Now make sure to pull this so that this stitch here doesn't show through. The sole is done. Now, as it is at the end of the second row, you should have a total of 48 double crochets. We have 10 here, then we have 14 here, 10 here, and then 14 here. So that's a total of 48 stitches. Now, the length of the sole, it's measuring about 4 inches, which is about 10.5 centimeters, and the width is about 5 centimeters, which is about 2 inches. So this part here is done. You can go ahead and make the second one. You're going to do it exactly in the same way. So this part is done. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to start with the body of the booties. And for that, I'm going to use the second color here, the pink color. So to begin here, this is where I finished. So I'm going to go here to this end. Here, remember we have 14 double crochets. So I'm going to leave 7 double crochets on this side. So it's 2, 4, 6, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, and then I have 2, 4, 6, 7 on this side. I'm going to go on top of this next stitch which is the center stitch, right about there. From here on, this is going to be the bottom of the sole, and this is going to be the inside of the booty. So we're going to insert our hook like this on top of this center stitch. Now here with the pink yarn, make a loop and bring it through. Now chain 2. These 2 chains will never count as a stitch. Now what I'm going to do next is I want the white part of the sole to show a little bit here for this part, for the bottom of the booty. So to do this, I'm going to yarn over, insert your hook through both loops of the first stitch where I pull this loop through, and then go around into the next stitch and make a back post double crochet. Now these back post stitches are a little bit different than the normal back post stitches. When you make a back post, you go through the post of the stitch. Here I'm going through the top of the stitches. See, I'm inserting my hook through both loops and the next one like this, and I'm going to make my back post stitch. Again through 2 loops and the next, and make your back post stitch. I'm not sure what this stitch here is called. If anybody knows, please comment and let us know. I'm going to be calling them back post double crochets. Now here is where we joined. Here's the last stitch, so go through the first stitch of the second row of the sole and make your back post stitch. And this is how I'm going to continue all around for row 1. I'm here at the end of row 1. Now here at the end, to make your last stitch, here's the last stitch. So go through the back and around the post of the first one, or the top of the first stitch, and make your last back post double crochet. Now to finish, go on top of the first stitch, not the chains, but on top of the first double crochet, and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 1 with a total of 48 stitches. Now for row 2, I'm going to chain 2. The 2 chains do not count. Now for the second row, all I'm going to do is front post double crochets. Beginning with the first one, make a front post into the next, a front post double crochet into the next, front post double crochet, and so on. Now the body of the little booties is all worked with front post double crochets. So continue like this all around, making front post double crochets all around. I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. In this row I did front post double crochets all around. Here at the end, to finish, always go on top of the first double crochet, not the chains, but the double crochet right there on top. Insert your hook and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this second row. At the end of this row, I have 48 stitches. Now for row 3, we need to place some stitch markers. So here, count 21 stitches and then place a stitch marker after stitch number 21. From this stitch marker and the next, I have 6 stitches. From this stitch marker and up to the beginning here, or the end of this side, I have 21. So 21, 21, and then 6 stitches here for the front side. I'm going to start to decrease here in the front so that we can shape the top of the booty. So to begin here, row 3, I'm going to chain 2. In this first double crochet, make a front post double crochet, and then work 1 front post double crochet into each one until you have 21. That's 3, There, I have 21 front post double crochets for this first side. Now, I have the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I'm going to do for this part is I'm going to work double crochet to togethers, but we're not going to go on top of the stitches. We're going to go in between the stitches. So in between these first 2, in between the next 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 2, and in between the last 2 stitches, between this one and this one. So let me show you. Here we should be left with 3 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook in between the first 2, and grab a loop. Take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook in between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the first double crochet two together. Repeat the same thing into the next 4 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook in between the next 2, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook in between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the second double crochet two together. And again, yarn over, insert your hook in between the next 2, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook in between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And now you should be left with 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. These double crocheted together counts as 1. Now we're going to continue and work from post stitches. So beginning after the stitch marker into this next stitch here, work a front post double crochet, and then a front post double crochet into the next until you finish these last 21 stitches. I will meet you at the end of this 3rd row. I'm here at the end of the 3rd row. To finish the row, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is the 3rd row. At the end of this row, you should have 45 stitches. There's 21 stitches along this side, 21 stitches along this side, and then for the front, there's 3 stitches. Now, I have moved my stitch markers here for row 4. So here, you're going to count 19 stitches and then place a stitch marker. For the front part, you should have 7 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then for this side, you should have 19 stitches. So for row 4, to start, you're going to chain 2 and then make a front post double crochet into the first stitch. Here I'm going to make 19. There, I have 19 front post double crochets for this side. Now I have the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For this part, we're going to do the same thing we did in row 3. We're going to go in between 2 stitches to work these double crochet two together. So yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the first double crochet two together. Yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, yarn over, between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. There. I have 3 stitches here for the front. 1, 2, 3. Now into the next stitch after the stitch marker, make your front post double crochet and front post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this, making front post double crochets until you have 19. I will meet you at the end of this 4th row. I'm here at the end of the 4th row. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 4. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 41 stitches. Now I have moved my stitch markers for row 5. Here you're going to mark 15 stitches. For the front, you're going to mark 11 stitches. And for this other side, you're going to mark 15 stitches. So 15, 15, and then 11 stitches for the front. So to begin here, row 5, chain 2. Beginning with the first stitch, make a front post double crochet. That's 1, there I have 15 front post double crochets for this side. Now I have the next 11 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Here we're going to work double crochet two togethers between the stitches. So let me show you. Yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the first double crochet two together. Now yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. That's the second double crochet two together. Again, yarn over between the next 2, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. That's the third double crochet two together. Again, yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over between the next 2 stitches, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. That's the fourth double crochet two together. Yarn over again between the next 2, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And that's the fifth double crochet two together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 stitches now here for the front. Now along this other side, into the next double crochet after the stitch marker, make a front post double crochet and continue and finish this side. So I will meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of the 5th row. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here's row 5. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 35 stitches. Now I have moved my stitch markers here. For this side, I have 13 stitches. For the front, I have 9 stitches. And for this other side, I have 13. So 13, 13, then 9 stitches for the front. So for row 6, I'm going to chain 2. And beginning here around the post of the first double crochet, make a front post double crochet. Here I'm going to make a total of 13. That's 1, 13. There. Now I have the next 9 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. To decrease this part, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook between the next 2 stitches. So these stitches after the stitch marker, insert your hook there, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the first double crochet two together. Between the next 2, take 2 loops off, yarn over between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. That's the second double crochet two together. Between the next 2, same thing, take 2 loops off, between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. Here's the third. Between the next 2, take 2 loops off, yarn over, between the next 2, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here for the front, you should have 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now continue and work one front post double crochet here for the other side. Here you should have 13. I will meet you at the end of this 6th row. I finished row 6. At the end, I just joined to the beginning. At the end of this 6th row, you should have a total of 30 stitches. Now this part here, it's done. I'm not going to make any more decreases, so I went ahead and removed my stitch markers. Now for row 7, here we're going to start the top part of the booties, the cuff part. So we're going to make a row of half double crochets all around. So to begin here, chain 1. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a half double crochet. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next, and so on. For this row, this is all we're going to do, just one half double crochet on top of each one of the stitches, and at the end of this 7th row, you should have a total of 30 stitches. I will meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of the 7th row. In this row, I did half double crochets all around, and I have a total of 30 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 8, I'm going to chain 1. In this row, what I'm going to do is front post and back post double crochets. To begin, around the post of the first half double crochet, which is the same stitch we joined into, make a front post double crochet. Into the next, a back post double crochet, into the next front post double crochet, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue and finish row 8. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 8. My last stitch is a back post. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 8. At the end, I have 30 stitches. Now for row 9, I need to increase 6 more stitches so that we can make this row here of fans. The stitch multiple here for this row needs to be multiples of 6. So I need to increase 6 more stitches. So this is how we're going to make these increases. I'm going to chain 2 here at the beginning, and beginning into the first stitch, make your first double crochet. Now into the next 3 stitches, make a double crochet. That's 2, 3, 4. Now into the 5th stitch, make a double crochet increase. So make 2 double crochets into this same stitch. And this is how you're going to continue. Make 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next a double crochet increase. Continue like this all around. Make 4 double crochets, and into the next a double crochet increase. At the end of this 9th row, you should have a total of 36 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the 9th row. Here's my last increase. I have 36 stitches at the end of this row. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 9. Now for row 10, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now this row is going to be worked on the wrong side. In this 10th row, I'm going to make front post and back post double crochets. So beginning into this first stitch, make a front post double crochet. Into the next, a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue and finish this 10th row. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 10. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 10. Now, if you're making your booties for baby boys, I recommend that you make one more row of front post and back post double crochets so that when you finish, you can fold the cuff like this, and it'll be perfect for a baby boy booty. I'm going to continue and show you how to make this version for girls. So we're going to now make the row of fans. So for row 11 here, also from the wrong side, I'm going to start with 1 chain, and then into this same stitch here, make a single crochet. Now skip 1, 2, and into this 3rd stitch, make a fan. Each one of these fans is going to consist of 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now skip 2, 1, 2, and into the next, make a single crochet. Skip 2 and into the third, make a fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip 2 stitches and into the next, make a single crochet. Skip 2 stitches and into the third, make a fan. This is how you're going to continue all around. At the end, you should have a total of 6 fans separated by a single crochet. Continue all around. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 11. I have a total of 6 fans. Here's the last fan. Skip the last 2 stitches, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 11 with 6 fans. Now for row 12, I'm going to chain 1, and beginning in this first single crochet, make a single crochet. Now we have the first fan. In between the first 2 double crochets, make a double crochet, chain 1. In between the next 2, make a double crochet, chain 1. Between the next 2, double crochet, chain 1. Between the next 2, double crochet, chain 1. And between the last 2, make a double crochet. So here for each one of the fans, you're going to make 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, separated by chains, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 chain 1 spaces. Now to finish here, go on top of the single crochet and make a single crochet. Now I have the next fan, yarn over, between the first 2 double crochets, make a double crochet, chain 1. Between the next 2, double crochet, chain 1. Between the next 2, double crochet, chain 1. Between the next 2, double crochet, chain 1, and between the last 2, a double crochet. Now we have the single crochet on top of the single crochet, make a single crochet, and then do the same thing for each fan. Double crochet, chain 1 between the stitches, double crochet, chain 1, and so on. Continue like this, finish this 12th row. I will meet you at the end. I finished the 12th row. At the end of this row, I have 6 fans, and in this row, we just did double crochet separated by chains on each one of the fans. Now here at the end, just join to the beginning where we have the single crochet with a slip stitch, cut your yarn and pass your yarn through this last loop. This last row, I'm going to make it like this in white. For this part, I'm going to use a slightly smaller hook size, a 3mm. You can also just continue with the same hook size. For these booties here, I used the 3.5mm hook. That would be up to you, and it's optional. So to do this here, I'm going to go into the first single crochet right here, insert your hook there from the wrong side again, and chain 1. If you're not changing yarn color, then go ahead and just chain 1. Now, beginning around the post of this first single crochet, make a front post single crochet. Now, in the chain space of each one of these fans, make a single crochet, 3 chains, single crochet. In the next chain space, same thing, single crochet, 3 chains, single crochet. In the next chain space, same thing, single crochet, 3 chains, single crochet. And in the last chain space of this first fan, same thing, single crochet, 3 chains, single crochet. Now between the fans we have the single crochet. Here just make a front post single crochet, and then do the same thing for the next fan. In the first chain space, make a single crochet, 3 chains, single crochet, single crochet, chain 3. In the next, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. In the next, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the last chain space, and then make a front post single crochet. And this is how you're going to continue for this last row. I finished row 13. At the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through this last loop. All you need to do now is just hide your ends, and the little booties are all done, and this is how it looks. Here's the finished one. Now here all around I just weaved some ribbon, so let me show you. This is the ribbon that I'm using. This one here is, let's see, 4.8 millimeter, and this one here is the thinner one, and this one is 1/8 of an inch. Now I've cut my ribbon here. This is about 18 inches. So to weave this around the cuff with a yarn needle, just pass the ribbon through here. Now this little bow is on this side, so I'm going to add the little bow on this side. So to do this, I'm going to go here to this side. So here, just insert your needle through both layers here and come through this other end. Skip 2, and between the next 2, same thing. Skip 2, and between the next 2, like this all around. Now I'm using 2 ribbons here. You can just use 1, that would be up to you. I think I like to complicate my life here. You can easily just use 1. Now pull this, make sure that it's even, so that you can now just tie a bow here to the side. This will tighten around the baby's leg, not too tight. And that's how it looks. I'm sure you can do a nicer job here. Now here's the finished one. So after you hide all your ends, this is how it should look. Here inside I just have some cotton balls. So now let me give you the finished measurement. It's about 11.5 centimeters finished from one end to the other, and the width here, it's about 5.5 centimeters, which is about 2.25 inches. So these little booties are for 3 to 6 months, and I made them to match the little ivy set, the baby cardigan, the little pants, and the matching baby blanket. In the information box, you can find the link to those tutorials. Now, as far as yarn, you're going to need a total of 15 grams. 9 grams in pink, which is the main color, and about 6 grams in the white color. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. And as always, if you prefer it in pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.